The entire plot for Avengers Doomsday has reportedly leaked online. Not a trailer, not a rumor. The full movie, start to finish. And if any of it is real, it is one of the wildest Marvel scripts ever written. So today, we are breaking down the whole thing. This is a complete plot breakdown, so consider this your spoiler warning. We are going scene by scene through the leak, from the brutal opening to the ending that sets up Secret Wars. If you want to go in clean, this is your exit. First, the honest part. This came from a leak, and leaks like this are very often fake or fan-written. Nothing here is confirmed by Marvel, and we cannot show you the source. So this is all description and analysis. Take every word with a mountain of salt. That said, this leak fits everything we already know. Doctor Doom, incursions, Battleworld, the road to Secret Wars. So whether it is real or just a great fan story, it is worth breaking down. Let's get into it. One fast thing. We are climbing toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If you love Marvel breakdowns like this, tap subscribe. It is free and it helps a small channel more than you would think. That is the ask. Now, the leak says the movie opens not with the Avengers, but somewhere far darker. Let's start at the very beginning. We open on the X-Men's universe, where Professor X and Magneto play chess, both bruised and weary from surviving wave after wave of incursions, worlds smashing into one another. Then, the sky turns crimson. Another incursion begins, and this time, the colliding world is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe. Right away, the leak is swinging huge, pulling the old Sony films straight into the multiverse war. And what happens next is savage. Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine are dropped into Tobey's world with an antimatter bomb, built by Beast to destroy that entire Earth and stop the incursion. But as Wolverine moves to detonate it, Tobey's Spider-Man intervenes, and it erupts into a fight across a moving train. Magneto arrives, crushes Doc Ock and the Green Goblin, wraps the bomb in metal, and hurls it at Tobey's Earth. Deadpool escapes by TVA Tempad. Wolverine does not. Pinned to the bomb by Spider-Man, both die as it detonates, and a whole universe is gone. That is the cold open. We cut to the Fantastic Four's world, picking up their post-credit scene with Doctor Doom and Franklin Richards. Doom warns Reed the incursions are coming for them next. And then, the first big twist. On this Earth, Victor Von Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme. This Doom is a magic user as much as a scientist, and the leak says he recently lost his wife and son. Sue tries to reach him about it, but Victor buries the grief and locks onto the crisis. Remember that pain. It is the key to everything he does. Reed scans their Earth for anomalies and finds one. An old man who turns out to be Steve Rogers. He explains he is not from this world. He is from the MCU. He was Captain America, and someone teleported him here decades ago. Then the gut punch. Reed and Victor realize Steve's very presence on this Earth is what is dragging it into the incursions. Steve pleads for a peaceful fix and offers to take them to his old friends, the Avengers. So they build a ship and they go. Meanwhile, Thor learns from the cosmic being Eternity that his adopted daughter Love is dying as the incursions spread. Only 3 Earths remain, and the whole multiverse is about to collapse. Then Thor spots the Fantastic Four's ship and flies up to investigate. On board, he finds an impossible face, Steve Rogers. Thor does not buy it, so he tests him the only way he trusts. He throws him Mjolnir, and Steve catches it, still worthy. It is the kind of crowd-popping moment this leak is packed with. They arrive at Avengers Tower, straight into Sam Wilson's New Avengers mid-argument. The room freezes at the sight of Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four, and then Steve Rogers, sparking an emotional reunion between Steve, Sam, and Bucky. The clock is set, under 24 hours before 3 Earths collide and end the multiverse. Reed's plan: build 3 massive dimensional cannons, one on each surviving Earth, to force the realities apart, but they will need an army to defend them. They turn to Wakanda, but the red skies are already there. Shuri points them to one more power that could help: Namor and the armies of Talokan. A strike team dives to the underwater kingdom, and Sue Storm shatters Namor's barrier to get his attention. Namor is hostile at first, ready to fight them all, but it is Sue, again, who talks him down and brings Talokan into the war. With Namor on board, the heroes finally have the muscle to split up and start building those cannons. The heroes split into 3 teams, one for each Earth, And that quiet line from Doom that he will catch up later should worry you, because the team heading to the X-Men's world is walking straight into an ambush. At the X-Mansion, they are jumped by Mystique, Gambit, Nightcrawler, and Cyclops, until Beast stops the fight and reveals Monica Rambeau, gravely ill. Her presence in this universe, he explains, is what is accelerating the incursions. It is why he built that antimatter bomb. Then, the leak drops a bomb. Steve tells Thor what happened after Endgame. The TVA meant to erase him, but Loki saved him and hid him and his family in the Fantastic Four's world. Loki has been alive this whole time. Overjoyed, Thor demands to see his brother. Steve has a card to summon Loki, so the two travel to the TVA and find it destroyed, every agent dead. Worse, Thor finds Loki's body with his heart torn from his chest, and beside it, a scrap of cloth belonging to Dr. Doom. Thor storms the X-Mansion and confronts Doom, who has been calmly helping build the cannons. "Did you kill my brother?" And Doom drops the act, admitting he murdered Loki to steal his power. The helpful ally was never an ally at all. Thor charges, going for the head, a direct callback to his Infinity War mistake. And Doom stops the blow with 2 fingers, then flicks the God of Thunder aside like an insect. In one moment, the leak makes Doom the most terrifying threat the Avengers have faced. Doom uses Loki's stolen magic to reanimate the Sentinels, the giant mutant hunters, and turns them on everyone. And they cannot stay down. Every time one falls, Doom simply repairs and revives it, grinding the heroes into the dirt. The losses pile up fast. Mystique and Nightcrawler die. Magneto is broken trying to avenge them. Doom rips the 10 rings of Shang-Chi. Sentry becomes the Void and levels the field, until Professor X reaches into his mind and shuts it down. It is a slaughter. Then Doom hijacks the robot Herbie to hack Cerebro, and weaponizes it to trigger the incursion that destroys the X-Men's entire Earth. On his way out, he kidnaps Steve Rogers. Reed begs him to explain himself. Doom's only answer: "One day you will forgive me." Then he vanishes. The survivors flee to the MCU as the X-World collapses behind them, and now only 2 Earths are left in the entire multiverse: the MCU and the Fantastic Four's world. Doom raids Wakanda too, taking Franklin Richards and Steve back to Latveria, and in Castle Doom, the whole tragedy clicks into place. Doom reveals that when Steve was teleported to his Earth long ago, it caused a dimensional anomaly. That anomaly ruined Victor's magical experiment, killed his wife and child, and disfigured him for life. Everything, the grief, the rage, all of it traces back to Steve Rogers landing in the wrong universe. Doom has been planning this revenge for years. Then the villains multiply. Doom reveals a covenant of witches: Clea, the Ancient One, and the Scarlet Witch, plus his right-hand man Boris, who is secretly Doctor Strange. They believe Doom is a messiah, the only one who can save everyone, and Doom turns cruel. He has Wanda conjure an illusion of Peggy Carter, then has Strange summon Steve's own son and kill him right in front of Steve, leaving him chained and shattered. Even the leaker doubts Marvel would go this dark, and honestly, so do we. With the last 2 Earths about to collide, Thor prays to Odin, and Odin answers, sending an army from Valhalla led by Jane Foster and Heimdall. The combined forces of the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Asgard's dead march on Latveria, and Deadpool crashes back through a TVA portal, not alone. He drags in Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and a wave of other MCU heroes for the final stand. Everyone you can think of is now on the board. Then the final battle begins. It is chaos. The Thing brawls an alternate Hulk. Namor and Shuri summon a tsunami to wipe out Doom's robot army. And we get the rematch, Doom vs Thor, Part 2. Even powered by the Odin Force, Thor is outmatched. Doom severs his left arm and blasts him away. Bucky charges in, and Doom kills him instantly, breaking Steve all over again. Sentry holds the 2 colliding Earths apart with his bare hands to buy time, and Ant-Man sacrifices himself so the young Avengers can escape into the quantum realm. The heroes are losing, badly. Cyclops, Sam, and Reed race to stop Doctor Strange's ritual, the one using Franklin Richards, but they are too late. The spell completes, the 2 Earths shatter together, and Doom absorbs the power of Loki, of Franklin, and of the Darkhold all at once. With that power, Doom builds Battleworld from the wreckage of the last 2 universes. He resurrects the dead, erases their memories, and rewrites reality with himself as God Emperor Doom. Steve becomes Captain Hydra, Sue becomes Doom's wife, and Thor is reduced to the Four-Core. Doom simply wins. But it is not quite over. In the post-credits, on the edge of Battleworld, two figures drag themselves out of the ash. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, somehow alive. And they are the only two who still remember the old multiverse, the world before Doom. They hold the key to the Resistance and the direct setup for Avengers Secret Wars. That is where the leak ends. So how legit is this? We do not know, and you should not treat it as fact. Parts, like killing a child on screen, feel too dark for a Marvel blockbuster. But the bones, Doom, Incursions, Battleworld, God Emperor Doom match exactly where the MCU is heading. Real leak or brilliant fake, it is a wild ride, and it makes the wait for December 2026 even harder. Do you think this is the real plot? Drop your take below, and if you want the truth the second it breaks, subscribe and help us hit that first 1,000. See you next time.